Dear students, today we are going to study the revision portion of accountancy. Already we studied this portion earlier on the online classes as well as the regular classes. Today I want to revise the portion. Please listen the portion. Already entire portions were studied. Once again I repeat what we studied in the previous classes. Then first question is 2-mark question. One theory question. Today is I am going to explain the question of theory question from accountancy. Then 2-mark question. First we study one 2-mark question. The question is, already we studied the question, what is the meaning of incomplete records? What is the meaning of incomplete records? Accountancy, first chapter. Accounts from incomplete records is the portion. First question, already we studied and write many examinations. So once again repeat, this question is very important in the examination point of view. So please study this question. What is meant by incomplete records? When accounting records are not strictly maintained according to double entry system, this system is called as incomplete records, or these records are called as incomplete records. Once again repeat what we studied in the previous classes. Once again repeat, this is very important question in the examination point of view. That is why I explain these questions once again. What is meant by incomplete records? This question is asked for 2-mark question. When accounting records are not strictly maintained according to the double entry system, these records are called as an incomplete records. Then second question, the second question is 3-mark question. I am expected only one question for 2-mark question. Remaining theory questions are 3-mark question. Then 5-mark question, theory questions are not at all asked. Only the problems are asked. So try to study this question. What is meant by incomplete records? Very important question. When accounting records are not strictly maintained according to double entry system, these records are called as incomplete records. Then what are the features? It is a 3-mark question. What are the 3 marks question? Now, what are the features of incomplete record? Features. What are the features of incomplete records? In the textbook, 5 or 6 points are given, but in the examination, you will write only 3 points. Each and every point is having only 1 mark. Try to write the heading and write. Point number 1, nature. Point number 2, types of account maintains. Types of accounts maintained. Then point number 3, lack of uniformity. Three headings. You should write these 3 headings. Nature. It is an unscientific and unsystematic records. It is an unscientific, unsystematic way of writing accounts. Way of recording transaction. Nature. What are the features of incomplete records? Point number 1, nature. Incomplete records are unscientific, unsystematic way of recording transaction. So, the accounting principles or accounting standards, accounting principles and accounting standards are not at all followed, properly. Once again, I explain what are the features of incomplete records. Point number 1, nature. The incomplete records are unscientific and unsystematic way of recording transaction. The accounting principles and accounting standards are not followed properly. This is the first feature of incomplete records. You write the heading and write these two sentences. Incomplete records are unscientific, unsystematic way of recording transaction. In the incomplete records, accounting principles and accounting standards are not followed properly. Then, point number 2, types of account. In the types of account, only cash account and personal accounts are maintained. Personal accounts are maintained fully. Other accounts, that is real account and nominal account, are not maintained. Once again, what are the features of incomplete records? Point number 1, nature. Incomplete records are unscientific, unsystematic way of recording transaction. Accounting principles, accounting standards are not followed properly. Point number 2, types of account maintained. In the incomplete records, only cash and personal accounts are maintained fully. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Then point number 3, lack of uniformity. There is no uniformity in recording the transaction. No uniformity is followed. No uniformity is followed for recording the transaction. According to the need, the transaction, according to the needs, the organization record the records in some other way. There is no uniformity is to be followed. Lack of uniformity. In the incomplete records, no uniformity is followed in recording the transaction. The different organization record their own way of writing the accounts. There is no uniformity is followed while writing the incomplete records. Once again, I explained these 3 points. 3 mark question. What are the features of incomplete records? Point number 1, nature. Point number 2, types of account maintained. Point number 3, lack of uniformity. Point number 1, the incomplete records are unscientific, unsystematic way of recording transaction. Accounting principles, accounting standards are not fully followed properly. Then point number 2, types of account maintained. Cash and personal accounts are maintained fully. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Lack of uniformity. There is no uniformity is followed in recording the transaction. Each and every organization are use their own way of writing their accounts. So the uniformity is not maintained by all the organizations. These are the 3 points. Heading is very, very important. If you write the heading and explain these points, you will get a full mark. 3 mark question, you should write 3 marks. You should write 3 points. If you write 3 points, you should get full mark. Entire informations are given from the textbook. So if you follow the textbook, the full mark will be provided. What are the features of incomplete records? Nature, types of account maintained, lack of uniformity, unscientific, unsystematic way of recording the transaction. Accounting principle and accounting standards are not at all followed properly. Type of account maintained. In the incomplete records, only cash and personal accounts are maintained fully. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Point number 3, lack of uniformity. There is no uniformity is followed in recording the transaction. Each and every organizations are recording their own way of writing the transaction. So there is no proper uniformity for maintaining the accounts by all the organizations. Then next question, this is also a 3 mark question. What are the limitations of incomplete records? What are the limitations? Limitations of incomplete records. Already we studied these questions. Once again, just to repeat what we studied in the previous classes. That's already is also 3 mark question. So if it is a 3 mark question, you should write only 3 points. In your book, nearly 7 or 8 points are given. You simply write 3 points. Each and every point is having 1 mark. So 3 mark question, you should write 3 headings and give the explanation. This question is not at all asked for 5 marks. 5 mark only problems questions are asked. Theory questions are asked for 3 mark, 2 mark and 1 mark. So you just study 3 points alone. Lack of proper maintenance of record. Lack of proper maintenance of record. You just write 2 sentences. It is an already studied, it is an unscientific, and unsystematic way of writing the account. Unsystematic way of writing the account. So, real and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Real account and nominal account are not maintained properly. Point number 1, what are the limitations of incomplete records? Lack of proper maintenance of record. The incomplete records are unscientific and unsystematic way of writing the accounts. Real account and nominal account are not maintained properly. Then point number 2, difficulty to prepare trial balance. Difficulty to preparing trial balance. All accounts are not at all maintained. In the incomplete records, all accounts are not maintained. All accounts are not maintained. Only personal account and cash account are maintained. So it is difficult to prepare the trial balance. So preparation of trial balance is difficult. Preparation of trial balance is difficult. So arithmetic accuracy arithmetic accuracy is not calculated. Arithmetical accuracy is not arithmetical accuracy of accounts are not maintained, are not found. Whether the written informations are correct or not is not allowed found. If the trial balance is prepared, the additions, subtractions, just types of mistake can be found, but it is an incomplete records. All records are not at all properly maintained, so the preparation of trial balance is difficult. Arithmetical accuracy is not found in the incomplete records. One more point we should study: lack of proper maintenance of record. Point number 1, it is an unscientific and unsystematic way of writing the accounts. Real account, nominal account are not maintained properly. Then point number 2, difficulty to preparing trial balance. All accounts are not at all maintained, so preparation of trial balance is a difficult. Arithmetical accuracy is not found in the case of single entry system or incomplete records. Then one more point number 3, difficulty in ascertaining true profit of the business, true profitability of the business. The profit is found out of available information and estimate. Only the profit can be found. Normally, profit can be found. Profit can be found out of available information and estimate. So it is very difficult to ascertain the profit of the concern. The trading, profit and loss account, trading and profit and loss account are not prepared, not able to prepare, cannot be prepared. Profit and loss trading, profit and loss account cannot be prepared. 3 points. Point number 1, what are the limitations of incomplete records? Point number 1, lack of proper maintenance of records. The incomplete records are unscientific and unsystematic way of writing the accounts. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained properly. Point number 2, difficulty in preparing the trial balance. All the accounts are not at all maintained. All accounts are not at all maintained. Only personal account and cash account are prepared. So other real account and nominal accounts are not at all prepared. So all accounts are not at all maintained. So the preparation of trial balance is difficult. So arithmetical accuracy is not found within the incomplete records. Point number 3, difficulty in ascertaining true profitability of the business. Profit can be found out of available information and estimate. So difficulty to ascertain true profit of the business concern. Trading and profit and loss account cannot be prepared. Lack of proper maintenance of records, difficulty in preparing trial balance, difficulty in ascertaining profitability of the business. Only 3 points is enough because it is a 3-mark question. Then question number 4. I want to explain only 5 questions, 2 more questions. Question number 4. What is the difference between double entry system? What is the difference between double entry system and single entry? Single entry is otherwise called as incomplete records. Incomplete system. What is the difference between double entry system and incomplete system? Here we have write this question in the tabular column model. First point, basis of basic of distinction in the double entry system and incomplete records. Point number 1, records of transaction. Very important question in the examination point of view. Both debit and credit, both debit and credit aspects of all transactions, both debit and credit aspects of all transactions are recorded in the double entry system. Records of transaction, both debit and credit aspects of all transactions are recorded. In incomplete records, all transactions are not maintained completely. Debit and credit aspects of all transactions are not recorded. Both debit and credit aspects of all transactions are fully recorded in the double entry system. But in the incomplete system, debit and credit aspects of all transactions are not recorded. In some transaction, both debit and credit are recorded. In some transaction, only partial records are maintained. In some transaction, entire transaction is omitted. In the double entry system, both debit aspects as well as credit aspects of all transactions are recorded. But in the incomplete records, debit and credit of all aspects of the transactions are not at all recorded. In some transaction, both debit and credit aspects are recorded. In some transaction, only partial records are maintained. In some transaction, only entire transaction is omitted. So it is an incomplete record. So the first difference. Then second difference, types of account maintained. Types of accounts maintained. Already we studied these points. I just recollect what we studied. Personal account, number 2 real account, number 3 nominal account. These 3 accounts are systematically maintained fully. These personal account, real account and nominal account is maintained fully. But in the incomplete records, only cash and personal accounts, only cash and personal accounts are maintained. Real account and nominal account are not maintained. What are the differences between double entry and incomplete records? First, records of a transaction. Both debit and credit aspects of all transactions are recorded in the double entry system. Debit and credit aspects of all transactions are not recorded. In some transaction, both the debit and credit aspects are recorded. In some transaction, partial records are maintained. In some transaction, entire transaction is omitted. Then point number 2, what are the types of account maintained? In the double entry system, personal account, real account and nominal account are maintained fully. But in the incomplete records, only cash and personal accounts are maintained. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Then point number 3, preparation of trial balance. Preparation of trial balance. Trial balance can be prepared. Trial balance can be prepared to check the arithmetic accuracy of the account. Preparation of trial balance. In the double entry system, trial balance can be prepared to check the arithmetical accuracy of the accounts. But in the incomplete records, it is difficult to prepare trial balance because it is an incomplete one. Once again, what are the difference between double entry system and incomplete records? Record of transaction. Both the debit and credit aspects of all transactions are recorded. Debit and credit of all transactions are not at all recorded. In some transaction, both the debit and credit are recorded. Some transaction only partial records are maintained. In some transaction, entire transaction is omitted. Then types of account maintained. Personal account, real account and nominal accounts are prepared fully. But in the incomplete records, only cash and personal accounts are maintained. Real account and nominal accounts are not at all maintained. Point number 3, preparation of trial balance. Trial balance can be prepared to check the arithmetical accuracy of the account. But in the incomplete records, it is difficult to prepare the trial balance because it is an incomplete one. Then, dear students, one more question I want to explain. What are the difference between statement of affairs and balance sheet? Statement of affairs and balance sheet. This is question number 5. Statement of affairs and balance sheet. This is here, this point, the basis of distinction. Point number 1. The main objective for preparing the statement of affairs is to find out the capital of the business. Capital of the business can be found with the help of preparing the statement of affairs. The object for preparing the statement of affairs is to find the capital of the business. The objective for preparing statement of affairs is to find capital of the business. But in the balance sheet is prepared to ascertain the financial position of the business. The financial position of the business can be found by preparing the balance sheet. The statement of affairs is prepared to find out the capital of the business. The preparation of balance sheet is to find the financial position of the business. Then point number 2, accounting system. Accounting system. Statement of affairs is prepared when double entry system is not followed. When the double entry system is not followed, the statement of affairs is prepared. When the double entry system is followed, balance sheet is prepared. Balance sheet is prepared when the double entry system is followed. Then point number 3, basis of preparation. It is not fully based on ledger accounts. Not fully based on ledger accounts. Some items are taken from source of document. Some informations are taken from the source of document. Some informations are prepared from the source of estimates. Statement of face is prepared not from the ledger accounts, because the entire ledger accounts are not at all maintained in the single entry system or incomplete records. So not fully based on ledger accounts. Some informations are taken from the source of document and some informations are taken out of estimate. But it is fully, exclusively on the basis of ledger account. Once again, 3 points. Point number 1, objective. The main objective for preparing statement of face is capital of the business. The main object of preparing the balance sheet is to know the financial position of the business. Accounting system. When the double entry system is not at all followed, the statement of face is prepared. When the double entry system is followed, the balance sheet is prepared. Basis of preparation. It is not fully based on ledger accounts because entire ledger accounts are not at all maintained. Some informations are taken from the source of document and estimates. Some informations are taken from the estimate. It is balance sheet is exclusively on the basis of ledger account. So dear student, remaining more points are given in a textbook. You try to write first 3 points. So you will get 3 more questions. So dear students, I gave 5 questions today. Question number 1, 2 more question. What is the meaning of incomplete records? What is the meaning of account from incomplete records? Then what are the features of incomplete records? What are the limitations of incomplete records? What are the difference between double entry system of bookkeeping and incomplete records? What are the difference between statement of affairs and balance sheet? These portions are very, very important in the examination point of view. So during this revision time, I give most important to questions which are asked in the examination time. So from the examination point of view, these questions are very, very important. Remaining portion we will study in the next class. Next period, I will explain the commerce subject. So please wait for the next video. Thank you. God bless you.